What's up, guys, and welcome to the Tim Sports Talk. And today we're going into fantasy baseball. I am doing fantasy baseball for the first time in my life, so this is kind of a let's play. We're learning together. I've already done the draft, obviously. We're already through week one, and I am starting this series after week one, and I'm going to kind of give you my updates weekly of how I did each week and what's going on with my team. So this is my team here. My first round pick was Freddie Freeman, the NL MVP last year. And I just kind of, my draft strategy, just to go into that, was kind of to fill my infield. So, like, these guys were all drafted pretty quickly. I went ahead and got the highest projected catcher in the draft. So I got him. Freddie Freeman was a nice first baseman. Jose Ramirez, awesome third baseman. So I filled out my infield. Then I alternated between outfield and pitcher, starting pitcher, for who was the highest projected. And why did I go with the highest projected? Two reasons. As I said, this is my first year ever, and I'm not a big baseball watcher, so I don't know who's good anyway. So, and then secondly, baseball is a very, very analytic sport, right? That's why they have Moneyball. And it was the whole idea that it's a bunch of numbers and a bunch of statistics and coming in with a whole new thought process. And baseball is very, very numbers-based. So I'm thinking, like, if you are projected to get high points, you're probably going to get high points because that's just how the numbers work in baseball, right? Where it's like fantasy football is a little bit different because you really can't take a player out of the game unless you just beat them pitching, right? But if they're a good hitter, they might go in a slump, but they're going to eventually hit on you. Right, so Freddie Freeman's on a little bit of a slump so far this season. He's not doing fantastic. He's got a few home runs, which is nice, but his batting average is not very high. But anyway, eventually you're going to get going. And even if you can't even take out, like, maybe you could walk them, but I get a point for every walk you do. I get a point for every base they get. So, and if they get a run, so if somebody else knocks them through, they get a point for a run. So maybe they limits their points, but they're still going to get points, even if in a game they decide, like, okay, Freddie Freeman's really hot, let's walk him. Okay, that's a free point for me. And so that's kind of why I just went ahead, and so I alternated between the highest outfielder projected and the highest starting pitcher, and I had actually the 10th pick in the draft, so it was nice. So I got to pick back-to-back, and I just went ahead and got starting pitcher, outfielder, starting pitcher, outfielder. Another thing I looked at is it's important to get guys that can play multiple positions because people don't play every single day. You could see that there's some gaps in here. And honestly, it shouldn't have been gaps, but there was some postponements. So you don't play every single day. And yet there is people that do play every day. So it's an everyday event for 7 days a week. So you play every single day for 7 days. And you want to have some versatility because you see here, this is a second baseman, shortstop spot here, so I like to have a shortstop, second baseman, the guy that plays both. So if my shortstop goes out, I can put him up here and, kind of throw in my other shortstop here because he's not a second baseman, so I can't use him at second base, but I can use him as my second base and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of went with guys with a little bit of diverse players as well. I kind of looked at that. The main focus was projected, so I wanted to get a guy that was projected high, but at least for now, I got a guy that was multifaceted where I could use him in multiple spots. All right, something I learned over week one is the importance of having some relief pitchers because a starting pitcher only pitches every 5 games. And how they help this is that you get 12 starting pitcher starts per week. So if you happen to have, you can't just pick up starting pitchers every single day and just play as many starting pitchers as possible, right? You only get 12 for the week. And week one, you got 19 because it was a longer week. Week one, I believe, is 11 days. And then it'll be every week after this will be 7 days until the final week, which I believe is 13. And so, but it looks like the 1 week, you get 12 starting pitchers. Starting pitcher starts. And so the importance of relief pitchers is sometimes you don't have, your starting pitchers aren't playing, and so they're just wasting a spot. If you got some relief pitchers in there, and they can come in and they can give you some good points off the bench, right? Let's see, Giovanni Galeos. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'll go into what's going on this week, or this week, next week. But for now, let's go ahead and look at the last week. And right now, I am in first place. Absolutely crushed it. And the big thing is that I was the only one to get to the mark of 19 starting pitchers starts. Nobody else got to there, I guess, because, well, first of all, a lot of us are new, so we didn't understand it. But that helped big time because you can look here. Here's his starting pitchers or points from pitchers is 227. And I had, that's my hitters, 326. So I had 100 more points than him just in starting pitchers because I got the amount, because I think he only had 12 starting pitchers and I had 19. So that was a big, big difference there. But also my hitters just absolutely crushed it. He only had 321. I had 487. You can look here. So 48 Merrifield was going out of his mind. 48 fantasy points in week 1, which is awesome. But you can see here, like Freddie Freeman, where'd he go? Freddie Freeman, he ended up with 40. Not too bad. So it's not as bad as I thought it was. I guess he did get some points last night as well. But he definitely came off. I think he had a nice 11-point game the last day of the week or something like that. But he was not up to par for what Freddie Freeman normally is. But yeah, so this is my team. I went ahead and I took a couple of. So I say, Girl Warietta is my team name. There you go. Play on a couple of players that I had, and this is his team here. So I crushed this one. But yeah, so I went ahead and got some relief pitchers throughout the week because I didn't have them. And I didn't know how they worked in the beginning because I was like, if they played, does that count as a start? Blah, blah, blah. Relief pitchers do not count as a start. But yeah, so this is my team for now. I'm sure I'm going to be making some pickups. And I'm going to be also asking you guys, if you guys are expert at all in fantasy baseball, if you guys have ideas of what free agents I should scoop up. Each week I'll show you who's available in my league. You can look here, available. So you got, another Gurriel. It's funny. It's so funny. I play fantasy football, and the different last names you get here, it's way, way different. There's a lot less, there's a lot more Hispanic names in here, or a lot more weird, German names or something like that. But it's just a funny name. And the reason I even thought about that is because there was a guy, I think, I can't remember his name. Jay Bell was his name in baseball. I don't remember his first name. And Josh Bell, maybe. But my mind immediately went to Joik Bell, one of the old running backs. And I didn't do that for anybody else when I just saw, the first letter and last name. And it's because there's, no common last names throughout, compared to NFL. So NFL and baseball has very, very different last names. But anyway, so here's who is available. So if you put down anybody in the comments, I think Joey Votto was on my team at one point. I did pick up and drop some people just trying to get a full roster to play. I don't obviously want to draft because you don't get a lot of bench spots. I don't know if you guys noticed this. You only get 4 bench players total. And I do have a guy on IL, but you could see I have 2 bench players for my hitters, and then I got 2 bench players for starting pitchers. And then I also have Shohei Ohtani. I don't know how you say his first name, but he is actually a designated hitter and a starting pitcher from Korea. I remember when he was coming out that it was a big deal that he could hit fantastic, and he was a starting pitcher, which usually that doesn't happen. But he's kind of he's not a cheat code because if you put him in his utility as a batter, he only gets points for batting, and he does not get points for pitching, and vice versa. So if you put him in as a starting pitcher, then he does not get points for batting. But what's nice is that he could help me reach that starting pitcher number that I talked about, that 12 per week, if I need him to. If he starts one week, I can go throw him in to help me make sure I reach that 12 per week. But yeah, and I just absolutely crushed week 1. I'll go ahead and show you the standings. Where are the standings? Maybe I will. There they are. Week 1 standings. Boom. Girl Warietta in first place. I beat the next person by 30 points, which was nice. But you can see me and my buddy Zach here are absolutely killing it. And we just outscored them way high. But 823 points is obviously not going to be the norm. As I said, it was 11-day first week. The rest will just be 7. So we'll see I don't even know what to expect, what the average is for a 7-day week. But after that, after next week, we should get a better idea of, all right, well, how many points should we expect to get each week? And yeah, so If you guys have any other questions about how fantasy baseball works, I can try to look into it and answer them next week. But also, just put your comments down. I'll definitely respond and have some back and forth. I've been having fun checking my roster every day. As I said, I'm not big into baseball, but who knows? Maybe this will bring me more into baseball, because that's something that brought me more into the NFL, is playing fantasy football. Understanding the depth charts and who is actually a good pickup and late, blah, blah, blah. Like, it got me much, like, for a while there, I'm a Skins fan, but for a while there, I was more of an NFL fan in general than a Skins fan. Like, Skins were my team always, but I knew much more of a broad general spectrum of the NFL rather than, like, knowing the in-depths of my team. Now I'm kind of almost the opposite. Like, I know almost the whole 53-man roster on my team, and then I'm less known about what's going on around the rest of the league. But still, I'm in tune a little bit. But anyway, you get the idea. This one was a little long. It's probably not going to be this long every single week, because I was explaining some of my thought processes and the draft and stuff like that. So these usually be a little bit shorter. But thank you guys for sticking around to the end. Maybe, who knows, maybe next year we could do a little fantasy baseball in the community. If we wanted to start up a fantasy baseball league, that could be fun. I'm having fun so far because I absolutely crushed it. We'll see if my team falls apart later. And I don't have a starting pitcher today, so you can see here I'm taking a little bit of I'm falling behind a little bit week one. But that's because, let me go to Fantasy Cast instead. It looks better that way. But that's because I don't have any starting pitchers yet tonight. I just had my relief pitcher in the game, and he, I believe, has one starting pitcher. So he's going to get a little bit ahead, because pitchers score a lot more than batters on each night. But that's because they only play once or twice a week, whereas the batter's going to play every single day, or 6 days a week, sometimes having 2 games in one day. Well, I guess my thing's freezing up. But anyway, I'll just end it here. Thank you guys for watching to the end. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Also, in the description below, there is a Discord link. Hop in our Discord and come talk some sports. Mostly football, but come talk some sports. And last but not least, there are donation links in the description below. If you feel so kind, you could donate to the channel. But yeah, subscribe to the channel. I'm close. 981, trying to reach that 1K. And if you like this kind of stuff, please hop in there in the comments. I will definitely be chatting it up throughout the weeks and having fun talking a little baseball and getting more familiar with the game. But yeah, and until next time, see ya!